Ever the observant one.
Yes.
Any sign of the SIGs?
He's not home, is he?
Six is not in town. He's out of town, working.
Oh, fair enough.
Ah, okay. I guess it would be
Yeah.
silly to wait for him then.
Also, I do remember him saying this last week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
think
said
you're
it-
right, he did. So
Yeah,
he'll probably be very confused at the very long message I've sent him about his various character stuff.
He's also said in Officer as well that he wasn't going to be here because he wrote a big thing in Officer saying, I can't make the raids, I'm going to be somewhere else.
Okay, clearly I was in denial about this. Okay, fine. Well, we'll just play with us then. So... just in terms of in-game time, I wanted to move things on a bit and say that several days have passed since our last session. And I thought maybe you guys had some ideas about what you might have been doing during that time. I know that we've had some stuff that we kind of set up at the end of the last session. For example, that Theo has sort of been apprenticed by the Red Hammers, so he's learning how to runecraft, and maybe that can explain why he's not here this week. I know White Wolf had arranged to get an arm upgrade and get a rune slot put into his arm, so he could sort of be a guinea pig for various runecrafting experimentation. And I know Krossick had got that weird water binding necklacey thing that he'd been playing around with. But other than that, what do you think you guys might have been doing over the last week of time in Prosperity Junction? Also, Twig has presumably
I was.
made their way back.
I don't think I was actually at Prosperity Junction, but rather the Blessed Queen.
Yeah, they
can't say words.
left you in
Blessed
the place. Yeah.
With the gnomes. But presumably, I'm now just travelling back. Just arrived.
I imagine I probably would have been trying to work out the secrets of this necklace and like see if I can understand it a bit more. I'm probably looking at the local wildlife and fauna and just exploring, making notes of things.
Nitch is not entertained.
It's not good
Try
enough, is it? I killed everyone.
That sounds more likely, but
I mean,
It would be more likely if it was, I made everyone some special tea.
that then killed everyone.
Or it's a puck that I've thrown into the river.
Yeah, I poisoned everyone. The puckwudgie I strangled. Oh, karma.
That puck's going to show up one day, you realise.
Oh god, I hope
Like,
so.
in full cowboy gear with some really powerful guns.
What?
Demanding
It's a
vengeance.
tiny puckwudgie.
Cavod, what might Cavod have been getting up to if he had a week of downtime?
Not that much. Relaxing. No,
Polishing
weapon
that.
training as well. Might help Tickle get used to his new arm as well. With sparring.
Ah, that's a good idea.
I was going to say that's what I was. That during my week, I'll have been undergoing different tests and shit, and getting used to the new arm, and also reintroducing myself to my two-hander. Seeing as now my arm is fixed, I'm going to start using my two-hander.
Fair enough. So we essentially said you've now got like a fully, because before your mechanical arm was like a very basic, clunky kind of a model. It's now working like a regular mechanical arm, like as detailed on the wiki. Plus it has this rune slot. And I was going to have Theo like do some practice rune crafting to make the runes for you, but I think in his absence we can skip over that, and if you want you can have access to some of those runes that I sent you earlier today if you want.
Let's say I have a fire. I've got a fire room.
Okay.
Another living fire one. That's the first one they want me to test.
Makes sense.
Is
Just
to
to-
see.
But clarify, this is the one that essentially has 3 charges, but when you spend a charge, your arm lights on fire and sets things you punch on fire.
That sounds dangerous. Why would you have that?
Why would you not have that?
Now all I need is an eye patch, a dog that has a knife, a naked woman that photosynthesizes, and a cigar. Anyone else get the reference?
I thought you were going for Graves then, but no, I guess not.
Metal Gear Solid.
Ah,
Boss.
okay.
Big boss. Yes, I'll have the fire room.
Okay, cool.
And maybe when Theo gets back, he could have developed maybe the mana one, because he's a
Yeah.
mage.
Yes.
Also, didn't Garrick want a rune slot on his gun?
Oh yeah,
As well.
Shaq, did you want something along those lines?
Yeah, actually, I was looking for getting ruin slot on my gun, but
Sure. So I forgot to send you the same stuff I was sending people earlier,
Mhm.
but let me just copy it over to you. Essentially, what I've said about rune crafting, like since we're not at a point where Theo can actually have the talent to start smithing it properly, is that Theo's kind of been apprenticed and can make basic like storm, earth, and fire runes. So there's like a storm rune, an earth rune, and a fire rune, like just the basic flavors. So I'll just copy those over to you now quickly. For the sake of time, I might say that we just say that you're welcome to have one of those, but you know you don't have to decide now, just so that we can get on with actually doing stuff.
Mhm.
But feel free to have a look through that at your leisure, or suggest something else if none of it fits. But yeah, so it's been an exciting week. I'm assuming Twigs made it back with this new modified Dexus.
Yes. And new playing ability through music. That's the thing. Oh yeah, learning actually how to play an instrument as well. That happened. Seeing as the pyrophone is in fact an instrument. First and foremost, it just also coincidentally fires fire.
Okay, so having done all these things in your various week, in what I can imagine was a really fantabulous montage scene in the movie of this game, wherever you may happen to be about town, you all receive a letter which is delivered to you by Hob, the mayor's Fey assistant. And the letter is essentially an invitation to attend the formal investigation of the Arc Gate, which, like, essentially all senior ATC employees are invited to kind of to see how the repair works on the Arc Gate are progressing, and to sort of discuss essentially what next moves are for the ATC in terms of Prosperity Junction. So you basically get this letter. It's inviting you to attend the Arc Gate at high noon that day, and you can deal with that as you wish.
Trying hard not to make a McCree joke. It being high noon.
I'm assuming you may be in different parts of town. That's why I'm just kind of saying, oh, you all get a letter wherever you happen to be. You can
I'm gonna
decide where
say
you are.
that I'm in the pub drinking Fey, the Fey nectar.
Oh yes, sure. In a thimble.
Having not paid for it. I don't know. Maybe I actually did pay for it this time. Oh, that's the other thing. I don't think I modified my money.
No, we'll worry about that later, or just do it on the slide.
Something like 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm just gonna be. I'll go out into the street and see if anyone else around. Anyone else is around.
Well, perhaps for the sake of argument, we can say that you guys kind of just happen to sort of meet outside the saloon as a natural gathering place.
Yeah, Thorn is on patrol, just trying to do his deputy duty, and he just stumbles on.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess the simple thing is if you'd like to attend the event or not. If you don't, then you can do something else. If you do, then you guys can do that. But I'd like to keep you together as a group as much as possible.
Yeah,
I'd like to find everyone else.
I think I'd like to go. Really. As a sort of engineer / annoyingly helpful person.
Yeah, I'm not really much of a mage or a mechanical genius, but it's still interesting, so I'd like to go.
Yeah, there probably isn't much else happening, so I'd like to go.
Okay, sure. So maybe you gather up your horses and you ride out of town, following the railroad, which sort of leads to the Arc Gate still, even though nothing's running along it anymore. And as you approach the Arc Gate, you actually notice. Obviously, this is the first time you've really actually been right up to it in a while. So as you approach on approach, you notice that the twisted wreckage of the Golden Express, the train you rode in on, is still there. The remains of its carriages have been moved off the now unused rail tracks, but they've just been left to rust in the midday sun. You can see the one half of an intact carriage, which was your carriage. And possibly this stirs up memories about how much has happened since that first day you arrived on Umber, and the attack in which, by right, you all should have died, and you would have died if it hadn't been for there was a young Saurian girl there who saved you with her magic. And while when you left that day after the attack, back then the Arc Gate was this big smouldering wreck, like it was a blackened metal arch that was cracked and warped by extreme heat where it had been hit by multiple rocket blasts, and it was barely standing up. Now it appears far more impressive. The structure's mostly been repaired, the metal is clean and shiny, and there's new formatic engines attached to its sides which occasionally spark and issue forth these clouds of purple and blue smoke. And while pieces of the arch are still cracked in places and pockmarked, and most of it's still got a lot of scaffolding and workmen sort of crawling all over it, on the whole, the amount of repairs that the ATC have done in just a few weeks is rather impressive, and the Arc Gate looks like an Arc Gate again. It looks like this very impressive, striking archway structure. And as you ride up, as I said, there's a number of workmen doing various bits on scaffolding around it. There's also a crowd of people standing under the arch. One of whom is your friend Hank Crugson, who you rescued and brought back from Bressett Creek. He's standing around smoking a cigar with some schematics in his hands, and he's talking with the mayor, Metrogel Cog, and Magnus Redhammer, the runecrafter. And there is also a sort of small hunchbacked hobgoblin who you've not seen before, wearing a hard hat. And he seems to be part of this little conversation that's happening underneath the archway, but occasionally he seems to break off from the polite conversation and yells abuse at the workers above him on the scaffolding, and then just sort of returns to the group. And when he does this, he seems to get some disapproving looks from Hank, but otherwise that hobgoblin seems to be kind of accepted by this little group. And also sort of milling around, like at the base of the archway, there's various sort of ATC official type people, sort of people in waistcoats and cowboy hats, and people like sort of examining and talking amongst themselves. So yeah, that's all what you see as you ride up to the repaired arc gate. What would you like to do?
I guess we'll go walk up to the mayor and the orb.
Sure. So, like I say, there's this group of Krugson, the mayor, Magnus, and this hobgoblin. And as you approach, Hank Krugson sees you and raises a hand to greet you, and he says, "Ah, my friends, you're just in time. We were just discussing the repair project." And he gestures to the hobgoblin next to him, and he goes, "I don't believe you've met Chief Engineer Oilsplot. He's been overseeing the operation." And Oilsplot just kind of like spits out some chewing tobacco on the ground and looks up at you and your horses and goes, "Yeah, nice to meet you." And then he sees a workman up on the scaffolding that he decides that he needs to go and yell at, so he stomps off and starts yelling at them.
Charming fellow.
Yeah, Hank goes, "Yeah, he's a trying individual, but he knows his stuff."
Looks like the repairs are going really well. Like, how's it actually going?
Well, at that point, maybe Magnus and the mayor join the conversation, and Magnus says, "Well, his boys have been helping, to repair a lot of the structural damage in the attack. So, like, the actual structure of the arc gate's been fixed, and he's clearly very proud of that. And then, and Hank Krugson, he says, thanks to, his knowledge and the help of Oilsplot and the ATC engineers, and access to those blueprints that you provided, he does think that within another week or two they will have a fully functioning arc gate." But then he kind of looks a bit more serious and says, "But there's a problem, which is, in layman's terms, if you think of Umber and Verdant and the two arc gates being connected by a tunnel, that's the portal. That tunnel that used to exist, even when the arc gates were closed, there was always kind of a sort of a lingering connection between the two. That connection got severed during the attack by all the arcane feedback." And what he explains is that essentially just repairing the arc gate and turning it on at this side won't work. You'd just be opening a portal that had no destination.
So you'd be stuck if you go through it. You'd be stuck in limbo.
Well, he blows a smoke ring from his cigar and shakes his head and goes, "Oh, no, you wouldn't want to. You would go through it. Highly unrecommended."
So how do we connect it then?
He goes, what essentially we'd have to do is to replicate the original way that the ATC got to Umber in the first place, which is to create an entirely new portal gateway to Verdant from this side. So essentially the way that they first got to Umber to be able to build the Arcgate network was by opening a very powerful portal, and the new Arcgate they're building can do that. But Hank kind of shakes his head at that point and goes, "But to do that, they'd need an immensely powerful source of arcane power."
Would you not also need a telemancer of some description?
He looks at you with some surprise and goes, "I am a telemancer, my small friend."
Well,
I dare say I'm the finest telemancer on Umber, even if by virtue of being the only one.
Excellent. Well, that's great. So where do we get some arcane power? A sort of shrug. Don't really know what I'm talking about. I don't know magic very well.
I think Theo has been working on a way to harness the power from the geysers. If we could use that, that's a really big source of magical energy.
Can I hold up my chunk of weird ore?
Or that.
Suggest maybe we try using that.
Okay, so you hold that up, and at that point, the mayor, Metrogale, goes, No! You don't think we've tried applying weird ore? Like, it's far too impure. There's no way that we'd possibly be able to burn enough to feed the machine. But...
Say...
what would you like to say?
Well, I said I tried drawing the magic out of the weird ore directly, and that seemed to work okay. Have you considered doing that instead of just burning it?
Hank says that essentially that the mayor's right, that like even if you could draw the magic out, the problem is that like most of the weird ore they've been digging up is full of impurities, so it essentially doesn't have enough magic in it. Like, it's only got a very small amount.
So what you're saying is we need a purer form. If we could get a hold of a purer form of weird ore, we might have enough. It might give us enough power if we can get hold of enough of it.
Yeah. Magnus steps forward at this point and says, "What about the work that they've been doing in the black ore mines?" And he sort of then turns to you lot and goes and like explains that in the town of Blackore the last report they had from them said they'd found a very pure vein, like of almost pure weird ore, like sort of deep down in the mines. But then Metrogale says, we haven't heard from Blackore in weeks. Their train delivery was supposed to come in 2 weeks ago, and we haven't heard anything. I've already sent like several of my best men out that way to find out what the delay is.
I say you haven't sent us yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll nod.
Alright, Magnus says, that sounds like the voice of a volunteer.
We can volunteer, we can do it.
Yeah, I'll say,
I mutter something about compensation, but no one.
I'll say, well, by the time we get back from bringing this pure weird ore back, maybe you'll have had it finished and ready to go. So it sounds like the best option at the moment, unless there's another source of magic readily available.
The geysers are one, but they are unpredictable at best.
Yeah, I'd imagine we need a more consistent supply. And
until
maybe
Theo can condense them into a crystal, then we can use it, but before that, no.
maybe the geysers could be a more renewable supply of energy, but if we don't have access to that at the moment, maybe exploring this mine could be fun. And as I say fun, I'd be like, oh, I mean, a good idea.
Actually, yes.
And I
That
said,
sounds more viable option.
he doesn't really speak common very well.
And can I lean down to Metrogale and say, oh, is she flying up in the air? I don't know. Is she a halfling or?
Metrogale's a gnome. No, she's not flying or anything. She's pretty small. She's like 3 foot high.
Can I lean down to her so like my jaws are next to her face and I'll be like, I'll lick my lips and be like, is there anything to fight down there?
She rolls her eyes at you and says, not everything's about fighting. Some things are about profit and ingenuity.
I hear you.
Do we all hear that?
Yeah, sure.
I mentioned, no, we've done a lot of fighting
Yeah, I'll nod.
since we've got here, and not a lot of investment. And
We don't
Haven't
have to
seen a
fight
lot.
everything.
I'll just say, well, on the topic of profits, we've done an awful lot for this town, So, what's the situation there? No.
Metrogale kind of gives you the stink eye and goes, "It was my understanding you were all employees of the sheriff's department."
I'm not.
Yeah, I'll say nah. I never signed any contract.
She seems taken aback, and she says, "Wait, you've been working in the name of the town without official contracts?"
Well,
I have
working.
actually-
We've been assisting people who are working. Is that fine?
That
The
sounds
DPD
like
should do that
layabout
then.
talk.
Can I gesture to my like shaman rags and like clothes and things and be like, do you think I need to sign a contract? Even if I did, looking like this, I don't think people would take it very seriously.
The cultural attire and preferences is none of the ATC's concern. We're an equal opportunities employer. Emphasis on the word employer.
Can I attempt to use my communication skills to, still like just explain that I still want to help, but I definitely do not want to be a part of the ATC?
You can try, sure.
Can I roll to see if I can help Tolly with this check? Because I want to back him up. Because
Yeah.
I'm not signing no contract.
Okay,
Lizard
sure.
Man.
Well, Tolly, you want to make your roll? Okay, you're welcome to help him, but I think he's
Don't
done
need
quite
to.
well.
I'll just stand behind him and nod and be like, yes.
Right, so look here. I really think that we're best working freelance. You know, we're free-spirited people. We help everybody. We don't need to help just you, and I don't want to be tied down to just you. But you know, that's still fine, right?
Maybe Magnus kind of leans over to Metrogale and whispers something in her ear, and she sort of looks at you grumpily and says, "Well, I suppose I have to admire your entrepreneurial spirit. This is the new world, after all."
Exactly. And same goes for my tall, scaled friend here.
Can I gnash my teeth?
Sure.
In agreement,
Just
yeah.
standing behind Twig, nodding and gnashing your teeth.
Yeah, it's like, ah.
I imagine that looks quite
Yeah.
terrifying.
It must look like he's trying to eat him. Eat her.
Yeah, Metrogale takes 3 steps back.
I'll put my hand on right shoulder and I'm like, calm down now. But yeah, we would like to get a contract going for like freelance business.
Metrogale yells out in her loudest, booming Texan-style voice, "Hob! Hob, where are you, you miserable varmint?" And then little
I frown at that.
little
That's
Hob
mean.
comes like flying over with his little assortment of several little administrative robots. And he goes, "Yes, Mayor Cog, what is it?" And she basically tells him to take the lot of you back into town and to sort you out with some, like, draw up some freelancer contracts. And he looks at her a bit oddly and goes, "Freelancer contracts?" And she yells at him again and says, "Just do it, boy!"
Can I just speak to Hob in Faye and be like, you know, you don't have to take this from her. Like, it's fine. You're better than that.
Oh, he just sort of looks at you sheepishly, and in Faye says, "I know, but I need this job. Metrogale's the only person who gave me any training when I got here."
If you ask me, I think you should go down to what's the place called? It was just a minute ago. You should go down to Blessed Creek. They're always looking for fine, especially engineers. There's a lovely pair of gnomes who will teach you some great new things. I mean, I've been there recently. Just bear it in mind, okay?
Well, he says he'll bear it in mind, but he's not sure. I'll have to think about it.
Can I give him a big pat on the head?
Yeah, sure.
I'll just pat him on the back. Be like, yeah, you'll be okay. And then I'm gonna wander off.
You're just gonna wander off.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go and see what else is happening. See if I can. Oh, can I try and find someone to talk to about where this mine is? Because now that I know there's like potentially stuff there, I'll be like, right, let's get going.
Sure, okay. Is there anyone in particular you'd like to talk to about that?
No, I just want to look around and see if anyone looks official. And apart from, I want to look for someone who's telling other people what to do.
Okay, well, mostly that hobgoblin oil splot is the one telling people what to do.
Okay.
There's maybe a couple of other people who look official-like they're not, like I said earlier, there's a few people who also invited to this inspection who look like they're more paper pusher types from town, like they're wearing quite nice clothes and waistcoats and stuff like that. You also notice, since you're taking the trouble to look around at the people, that you recognise one of the workmen on the scaffolding.
Okay.
As the Weevil, the ginger dwarf who you rescued last week, is working on the arc gate with a kind of welding torch, like he's fixing up some of the cracked metal. Right.
Can I walk up to him?
Yeah, sure. He's kind of like, he's up on the scaffolding, but like maybe only 6 or 7 feet up. Like he's not very high. He's just kind of working there.
Can I pay attention to when he like sees me and sees how he reacts? Because I have a really bad feeling about this guy, and I want to see, because I think he knows that I have a bad feeling about him, so I want to see how he reacts when I.
Okay. I'm gonna say that's probably a perception test of some kind. I guess it's seeing. Let me just have a
I've
quick look.
searched, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think just. Oh no, it's empathy actually. Discerning what others are doing. So if you make a perception empathy test, please.
15.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So you're sort of keeping an eye on him as you approach, and you get the sense he's actually been keeping an eye on you the whole time, because like he never looks directly at you, but he's as you're approaching, he kind of like seems to do things like put one tool down, look around for another, stuff that kind of like pivots him sort of looking almost but not quite towards you and then turning back. So you get the feeling that like he's watching you.
Right. Can I call out to him and be like, "Hey, why don't you come down here and have a chat? Haven't seen you for a while."
He turns around you with not like entirely convincing surprise, and he goes, sure, anything for one of the people who rescued me from that crazy gorge.
Yeah.
And he puts his tools down and he comes like climbing down the ladder. And
as he's climbing down, can I try and signal to the other guys, really like subtly, just like maybe wave a claw behind my back and like try and get someone to come over sneakily? Does that make sense? Like try and get someone to.
You're trying to be subtle.
Yeah, maybe try and suggest someone comes up behind him or something. Or.
Okay. I'm I'm gonna make you roll for that as well. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
that's some sort of communication.
Yeah, I've got. Yeah, I can do. I've just got communications plus.
Oh,
2s.
okay. Just go with communication.
13.
Yeah, 13's fine. So yeah, the rest of you notice that Krossick is sort of making subtle gestures behind his back.
I've got my hand behind my back. I'm doing
Yeah.
really elaborate hand gestures. I'm just like waving my fingers around really quickly, pointing at the guy.
Yeah, maybe Kavod picks up on like the elaborate Saurian like hand gestures you're making. To everyone else, it's kind of like you're just pointing urgently.
Yeah.
So, would anyone else like to go help him?
I'm gonna fly up, and say, "Oh my gosh, who's this? Hi."
Oh, can I just look at like Tolly? There's just real hatred in my eyes. I keep gesturing, so maybe Canny or someone will go up behind him.
Alright, Weevil gets distracted by Twig and goes, "Well, hello there, little one. Pleasure to meet you. The name's Weevil." And he holds out this, you know, this massive dwarven hand, even though that like he could probably like fit most of Twig in his hand.
I take one finger and shake his hand.
Well, whilst they decide what they want to do, can I engage him in conversation and say, so what did you say you were doing on your way here again? You seem to have made yourself fairly well at home in building the Arc Gate. Being very careful not to stress my words or anything. Or... Yeah.
Yeah, sure. He says, well, you know, as you know, me and my friend Bess, we were out like prospecting for some new mining opportunities, but since that fell through and since Bess is still fixing up our wagon, I signed on with the ATC repair crew. They seem to be happy with my references, and I did a fair bit of engineering work during the war, so I know my way around a tool belt.
I just don't understand like half the words he's saying about tool belt and all this kind of stuff, so I'm just looking at him and then...
Okay, he just kind of nods and smiles for almost too long, like it's awkward.
Yeah. I'm gonna say to him, oh no, I'm gonna say, so you're looking for some more opportunities here then? Like, really, I'm not trying to suggest that I think he's doing something wrong. Yeah, like, he's trying to look for something to nick or be sneaky about, and see how he reacts to that.
Alright, he just, he smiles and nods, and he goes, like, well, you know, I can turn my hand to most things, and, it looked like you ATC fellows were in a bit of a bind. Plus, the way I see it, there's not much point me and Bess going and starting our own mine if there's no way of getting our goods back home to sell them.
Whereabouts would home be?
He explains that they're from kind of like the dwarven, like the main dwarven lands, kind of up in the mountains back on Vergent. That has some sort of whimsical name that I cannot think of right now. Maybe you know.
I probably couldn't pronounce it. Yeah, sure.
You know how those soft skins have like lots of weird names to their places?
Yeah. I'll
That
just
have
nod
very-
and pretend I didn't hear it.
And then the Weevil sort of looks between you and Twig and goes, so what are you fine folks doing out here today?
We're looking at the official investigation of the Arc Gate. We're here to see if we can be of any help.
And he nods and goes, splendid. Well, as you can see, we've nearly got it all bolted and fixed up here.
Yeah, but that's not the only thing you have to do, because it's actually got something to do with, and then I sort of make gestures around what might be a portal, possibly. Magic! magic stuff. You know, and then nudge Krosek and be like, you know, magic.
I'll just mutter something about a portal and needing to find some energy sources. But can I then say very loudly, we're looking to stop any trouble as well? And then I'm going to stare at him.
Okay.
There's not gonna be any trouble. Don't be such a. You don't like anyone, Krosek. God.
Oh, I've really got a bad feeling about this guy. I don't know if it's completely wrong or not though.
Well, Weevil goes, yeah, no, I certainly don't want any trouble. It seems like this town's had more than enough of it.
Can I do another perception check to see if he's bullshitting me?
Yeah, sure. Perception, empathy, again.
15. And I stunned it.
And you stun. Okay. By just from a mechanical point of view of the game, I'm afraid you don't stunt because you haven't succeeded. Because I set the test as a very difficult test. He seems he seems a bit weird. And maybe he smells a bit funky, but like as far as you can tell, like he seems fairly on the level.
Hmm.
And he says, "Well, yeah, nice talking to you, Fax, but I'd better get back to work. That hobgoblin foreman is a real slave driver."
Might I suggest at some point that you take a bath?
I'll laugh.
He for the first time he looks kind of taken aback, and he goes, "I'll think about that, young miss. I'll think about it."
Can I say to Tolly, will you go and find out what the plan is? And I'll whisper, like, I'll put my hand over my face and be like, "For the mine," and then I'll just stand there and watch him work.
The mine? Oh, okay, right. I'll go find out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna stand there and watch him.
Okay.
I will head back to the others then.
Okay. Well, Weevil climbs back on the scaffolding and carries on doing his repair work. He kind of occasionally sort of looks over his shoulder and notices that you're still there. Sort of like the first time he kind of like gives you a smile, and then like a couple more times he just kind of looks over and the smile gets a bit more fixed. But then he just sort of seems to shrug it off and just carry on with his work. How about everyone else? Like the rest of you guys have presumably been standing around talking or doing something while that was going on.
Just small talk with the Hog.
With Hank.
Yeah.
I've been finding out like the population size of the town, if they have defences.
Oh, the town you're going to, Blackhawk.
Yeah. Basically, I find out the strategic stuff of Blackhawk, like how many people there are, if it's got sheriffs, or if it's got deputies there stationed. Do you know, like the other place did?
Sure. Well, I've just brought you back onto the map just for reference.
Yeah, so I'm basically saying about is there a deputy like in Blessed Creek?
Yes, there is. It does have a proper rangers station. Like not a huge one, but it does have a few rangers. It also has a few kind of paid ATC employees who are armed and whose job it is to essentially to guard the mines and keep them in order. Because while Prosperity Junction's got like several mines in the vicinity, Black Ore is kind of like the main mining operation, because like all of the soil around there seems like absolutely like flooded with like coal and gold, and then like some of this very pure weird ore that they've dug up. So it's considered to be quite a valuable place. So yeah, it's not only got rangers, it's also quite well guarded by by the ATC protecting their investments.
Yeah, and I'll also ask them if there's a way, if they have any like code words for us to when we come, if we meet anyone, so they know we're friend, not foe.
that's a good suggestion. These people might not know it, but Hob can get you that information when he takes you back to the ATC offices. Like, yes, there's a couple of like code phrases that you can use to sort of identify yourself with. And yeah, just for reference on the map, Blackor, as you see, if you just follow the rail tracks that just head west, you get to Blackor after several days of riding along the train tracks. So there's your context.
Yeah. Can I also make a positive theory of something? As in saying, like they're mentioning where it is and on the map, and I'm looking, and I'm seeing that the pure ore is closer to a crack. Do you know from?
It is, yep.
So I say to them, have they gone closer to the hole to see if the ore there is richer?
Magnus can tell you about this, because it was some of his dwarven friends who were working on the railway when they were first building it. Yeah, they have been out that far. There's a reason that at the end of the track there's a small town called Dead Man's Drop, because the ATC's initial plan was just keep building that railroad as far west as they could go, and then they got to that crack and they were like, oh, we can't go any further anymore. Like, that's like a massive crack in the earth. Like, it's not like a canyon or anything. It just goes down as far as anyone's been able to measure. Like, it doesn't seem to have a bottom.
Yeah, so I'm basically asking him if they've gone, do you know, if they've gone south and see if they are closer to the. Because did they know about the hole?
They have. Yeah, like this is the kind of they might not have some of the stuff to the west, to be honest. They probably have. Hang on. They probably kind of have kind of about that. Like, they haven't fully explored. They've had a few like surveys of the area, and they've sent like a few kind of hot air balloons like over the cracks and to explore more of the shattered plains. They haven't like got all of the map, but they've got like most of it.
Yeah, so I basically ask them if, because from what I've noticed, the closer to the crack, the purer the ore seems to be. So I'm wondering if it's a byproduct of the crack or the cause.
Yeah, Magnus nods and says, "Yes, it's a good theory. We know so little about like what really happened here to sort of cause such destruction, but like we know that it was some sort of big magical cataclysmic event. So I guess if the cracks in the earth are from that event, which makes sense, like it might also be the case that there's more magic in those areas that were affected the worst." And he looks at you and goes, "You've got a good head on your shoulders."
And I say to him, and I've got a good arm now as well.
Yeah, you do. How's that treating you?
I say to him, it's working perfectly. I just need a little bit more time to get used to it.
Cool. He's pleased with that. He says, "Just remember to come in and make sure you get a tune-up whenever you're in town. My boys will look after you proper."
I say I will and thank him.
Cool. Okay. Any more questions about that kind of mission while you've got people's ear?
Nothing comes to mind. Everything seems clear.
Okay, cool. So, just switching back into town mode. Yeah. So if you're ready to go, Hob invites to like ride with you back into town, and he'll sort you out with these special freelancer contracts that you've been granted.
Cool.
Okay. So yeah, unless there's anything else anyone wants to do.
Me and Garrick need horses.
You need like permanent horses.
Oh, we need, because I'm guessing when we came back, one of the things we did in that week was give them back the horses we got. Because remember,
You were
because
renting.
because me and Garrick are deputies, we can.
Yeah, me, White Wolf, and Theo need permanent horses.
Okay, sure. Hob says that he'll probably need something signed from the sheriff, but like it shouldn't be a problem to just like, you know, kind of move some paperwork around and just make that like an open-ended thing. Like you can just have some town horses, like, you know, like as long as you're deputized, you have access to the horses. 'Cause
Cool.
that seems to make more sense than you guys having to like hire them out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or you could buy your, you know, he says, you know, there's plenty of people willing to sell horses or, you know, other creatures if you need them and if you have the money.
How much does a horse cost, by the way?
That's a super good question that I think I might not have an answer to. Off the top of my head, like, I think it would not be unreasonable to say maybe, like, depending on the quality of the horse, probably like 40 to 60 silver dollars. Like, they're fairly readily
Okay.
available. So
Sounds
that's
good.
an option, or you can kind of have these sort of town-owned horses like on an open contract. You don't have to renew, and that's essentially a freebie. But it
Yeah.
does depend on you doing work for the town.
Well, I'll say
That sounds
for
good.
now, I'm gonna have the town horses because I don't have the money.
Yeah, same.
Okay, sure. Then Hobbs says basically if you can just go, he gives you, or one, basically he gets one of his little flying robots to print out a piece of paper for each of you, and he says if you can just get the sheriff to sign these, and then bring it back to me, like we can get that all sorted today.
Also, is Twig around?
Yeah.
I say, why doesn't your robot fly?
That's a good point, actually. Generally, because I don't know, he just runs around. I think I should consider putting some. Well, how big would the wings even have to be, unless they're thrust propelled? Oh, and now you've got me thinking. It might be something I'd have to work on. But the robot's not terribly big anyway, so for now, one of you guys can always carry him around.
Indeed. Oh yeah, Twig, by the way, I noticed that scope kind of thingy on your weapon. How does it work? And is it expensive to make?
The what, sorry?
Your scope.
I got given the scope by a Calpurnia. It was a hobgoblin we helped over in Gil's Ranch, and she was safe there for then, so she dismantled her rifle and gave me the sight.
Right.
So I don't know. I might be able to replicate it with enough time, though, potentially.
Yeah, if you could, that would be great.
Or, I mean,
Uh,
you could just
pick mine.
have mine for now, seeing as I actually don't. I'm not very good at using it. I miss most of the time anyway.
Well, thanks, but I got my own rifle now, with rune slots and all.
Okay. Well, I'll see what I can do about potentially making one.
Great, thanks.
Okay, so that's, I'm assuming it's a nice conversation you guys are maybe having as you ride back into town.
Yeah.
So you head back into Prosperity Junction. Yeah, Hobbs given you, given Garrick and White Wolf those papers they need signed. The rest of you are welcome to. Basically, you're all welcome to join him at the ATC offices whenever you're ready.
Indeed.
I'll just fly in.
So I guess it depends, essentially, like, if you want to split up while those two go and get their paperwork done, or if you
I'm
just...
not sure it'll take us that long to get it done.
Do we have a map to the... Did we decide to go to the mines then in the end, or...?
Yeah, the mines sounds good.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find a map of the area around the mines, or maybe a map of the mines itself. Could I search around for that?
Yeah, you can do that. Like, I mean, when you say search around, like where do you want to search, or who do you want to talk to about it? Like,
I'd probably go to Gilcrest. I imagine, would Gilcrest be out at the portal still, or would he just be kind of back?
Gilcrest wasn't out at the portal.
Oh, he wasn't there. Okay,
No,
I'll
like
see
pretty
if I
much
can find
everyone else
Gilchrist
was,
then.
but he wasn't.
I'll go to the sheriff's office and see if I can find Gilcrest then. And
So
ask-
basically, you're coming with us because we need to go to Gilcrest.
yeah. That sounds good to me. I'll just ask for a map whilst I'm there.
Okay, sure. Do you just assume that everyone's going to Gilcrest, or do people
Yeah.
want to split up? It's probably easier if you all go, unless anyone has any burning desires to not. And hang on a sec, my notes have just crashed. I'm going to reopen my notes. So yeah, you head through town, head over to the ranger station, and when you go in, you find Gilcrest in his office, and he seems to be like shuffling through various piles of paperwork and just going, oh dear, and like shifting, another page and going, oh dear. And then he looks up and sees you, and he goes, howdy, deputies. How's it looking out there?
We just came back from the art gate, and we might have a lead on something to do for a while. But we have to also sign some documents.
And he goes, oh yes, more documents, always more documents. And he holds out his hand and takes the papers from you and goes, yes, okay, sure, and signs them and hands them back to you.
Well, that was easy.
Can I ask him if he has any knowledge of if he has a map, or if he'd know where we could find a map of the mines that we're planning to go to?
He goes, yes, the Blackall Mines. I should have a map around here somewhere. And he starts rooting around in his filing cabinets behind his desk, and he does pull out something and goes, yes, here you go. This is this was made around the time like the town was just being founded, so it might be a little out of date, but that's the basics. And he hands you this this piece of paper, which is essentially I'll tell you what, I'll pop you back. Let's just pop back into the map again. He basically gives you a more detailed map of like this kind of area, like kind of like of the town and the railroad, and then you've got like this kind of like thicket forest to the north here, and it's just a few basic things like that, and has some annotations about the construction of the railroad and some designs on how it might be expanded later on. But it's got a detailed amount of information on where the town is and how to get to it.
Can I ask if I can take it?
Yeah, no, he's fine. He says that's not a problem.
Fab.
Like, you know, at this point, he says, after all the good stuff you guys have done, it would be foolish for me not to give you whatever help I can, right?
Fantastic.
Good man.
And then he sort of maybe looks over at Garrick and goes,
Mm-hmm.
but to be honest, I might need. I'm ashamed to ask, but I might need a little help with another problem.
I go, if he says that, I go, did your brother escape?
He sort of puffs up his check and goes, "Of course, my brother did not escape. I run a tight ship around here."
Of course he does. But yeah, anything.
And then he looks a little bit deflated and goes, "But I have to admit that the problem is my brother."
Right.
Actually, have we covered this with people who aren't Garrick and?
I'm not
I
sure.
have no idea what's going on.
I think we did, but it was only basically a 5-minute conversation at the beginning of when we merged, and it wasn't
Right.
very.
So
Would you like to
it might
explain?
be. Well, basically, the. But I think it's better if you explain it.
Basically,
Okay.
the Gnolls who attacked the town were led by his brother, who looks exactly like him. We captured him, brought him back. The long and the short of it.
Yeah, that's a fairly reasonable summary. Essentially, the other three, Group B, when they tracked down the Gnolls who had attacked the town, found that they'd actually been supplied and sort of received leadership from Gilchrest's older brother, which I guess is now summarized as good guy Sheriff Gilchrest explains the situation to you. He basically tells you that he's been trying to investigate like what his brother was doing on Umber and, you know, why he was trying to do what he was doing. He's been able, like, through a bit of digging around through ATC records, he's basically discovered that his brother was responsible for, like, rather illegally making arrangements for him, the sheriff, to essentially. Okay, the easiest way actually is that essentially the good Sheriff Gilchrest, you know, his name is Dougal Gilchrest. His brother is Perrin Gilchrest. Perrin seems to have forged some documents and manipulated things so that Dougal Gilchrest, who is now the sheriff, became a deputy assigned to Prosperity Junction, presumably as part of a plan to manipulate him. And Gilchrest kind of laughs and goes, "As if that would happen. My mind is as sharp as a sharp thing."
Of course.
But he looks at you and goes, "What I need help with is whilst I can find out some basic evidence of his crimes, like from the records, I'm still no closer to working out what my brother was doing with those Gnolls and why he was carrying equipment from Reinhold Industries. I've tried interrogating him several times. None of the techniques in my book seem to work, and I thought, as men and women with an adventuring, more rough and ready spirit, you might be able to help."
Can I talk to him?
Yeah?
And can I go and talk to him, basically?
Oh, you want to talk to the brother?
Yeah, no, I'm saying to the sheriff, can I talk
sorry.
to him? As in,
Yes, he goes, I mean, obviously, despite all he's done, he is my brother.
I say
Please
to him,
don't,
I won't
please
harm
don't
him.
hurt him.
Yeah, I say, I won't hurt him. I may frighten him, but I won't harm him.
Okay, he says, "Yeah, no, you're welcome." He hands over the keys to the jailhouse and says, I don't want any part of it. Just please don't hurt him. But if you can get some information out of him, You're probably a lot scarier than I am. Please do what you can.
Basically, I just want to try and persuade his brother because I have persuasion.
Sure, okay. Right, well, in that case you'll have to go to the jailhouse, which is sort of out back from the ranger's station. Does everyone want to go, or are we just gonna send White Wolf off?
Yeah, no, I'll follow.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'll follow.
Okay, cool. Well, you head down to the jailhouse, which, as I said, is sort of an improvised jailhouse. For those of you who haven't been here before, it's essentially like a concrete bunker that they're using as an improvised place to sort of keep people, like the few people they've been able to arrest since the art gate closed. So yeah, if you imagine a concrete bunker with a few kind of improvised windows with bars, that's more or less what it looks like. You head over to like the main sort of big steel door, and White Wolf has the keys, so White Wolf's able to open up that door, but when he puts the keys in, he finds actually the door's already open. It swings forward.
Mm.
And like a glance at the lock shows that it's been tampered with.
Can I look at Gilchrist and say, so he didn't escape?
Gilchrist isn't here.
Oh,
Gilchrist,
Oh, look-
sorry, Gilchrist is staying behind in the sheriff's station
Right.
because he doesn't really want any part of this.
who else was there? Sorry. Was it Tickle and Shaq and
Mhm.
Canny?
I think everyone. I'm just assuming
Everyone
the whole
apart
group
from Gilchrist.
is coming along for this. It's just everyone except Gilchrist.
I'll just say to anyone who's listening, oh, so he didn't escape then. That's good. And then I'll push the
Let's
door
take a
open.
peek inside.
Okay, you open the door, and inside you see sort of the 5 or 6 cells that are inside the jailhouse. They're all unoccupied except one, which is the nearest one. The door to that is open, and inside Gilchrist's brother, Perrin Gilchrist, is on the floor with a bloody nose, and standing over him are 2 elves in full cowboy gear, a cowboy elf and a cowgirl elf, who are essentially giving him the beating of his life.
Do we recognise the female elf?
No, you've not seen them before at all. They're quite unusual looking elves. Like, they have very dark, like grey-like skin.
Right.
With like they're a sort of a,
Have they
a rather
noticed this yet?
shadowy subset of elves. No, they seem focused on beating the ever-living shit out of Gilchrist.
Can I cast Shock Blast, Jolts to try and stun both of them?
Yeah, sure. Roll to cast a spell.
But it's one. Actually, it's just one character, but yeah.
I draw my rifle.
Okay.
Did we work out it was intelligence used for casting spells now? Right?
It is, yeah.
Okay. That's 16. I think I need 11.
Yeah, that'll pass. And you stunted with it, so you've got a 3-point stunt with your jolt.
They take 2 penetrating damage, and they have to succeed on a 11 Constitution test versus my spell power.
Okay, 1 second. Constitution, okay.
I'm just trying to stun the one nearest to me. I don't know if that's the guy or the girl.
What did they need? 11?
Against my spell power, which is 13.
Oh, okay, it's the guy, and no, he doesn't, so he gets zapped. Did you want to do something with those spell stunts?
Yeah, let me have a look. Sorry, I just need to find the sheet.
That's cool.
It'd just be a normal combat stun, right?
No, there's
Spell stunt.
spell stunts,
Oh yes,
which
spell
are
stuns.
similar but not necessarily the same.
Better. I've got 4 points.
3.
3. Sorry, God, what is my mind doing today?
It's okay. In an ideal world, we'd be able to highlight the stunt dice in a different colour, but Roll20 won't let us do that. So it's just the first dice. To be fair, I'm not sure many of them are necessarily that applicable.
Yeah, it says stunned. Can I just make them stunned for 2 turns instead of 1?
Yeah,
So
sure,
just
you
make
can make
them
it a
double
really
stun.
good stun.
Yeah, they just get like thrown against the wall and they're knocked out or something. Or
Okay, so essentially, the lot of you come barging into the jailhouse. You see these 2 elves beating up Gilcrest, who's on the floor bleeding, and Krosek lashes out with a lightning bolt that catches the cowboy elf completely by surprise and flings him against the wall, and he cries out, hits his head, and sort of like half staggers to the floor, not knocked out, but quite severely dazed. The cowgirl elf turns around
Oh, yeah, that.
and is surprised to
enough of
see so many of you, and yells. She's like, basically, she's like not got a weapon. She's just got her fists bunched up from where she's been fighting, and she says, basically, stay back.
What are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
Beating up a
Upon my-
guy.
I'll point my gun at her and say, lay off the halfling.
When she sees the rifle, she kind of like unclenches her fists and just like keeps her arms up, and she goes, you know, this halfling is responsible for all the troubles in our town. I'm just doing what the law won't.
beating him up in a jail cell is going to solve those problems, are they?
Reckon it might.
Alright, I'm gonna. Can I walk up to her and just grab her hands and try and tie her up?
Okay, when you reach forward for her, she tries to punch you.
Okay.
So I'll roll for that. Because she's not a nice person. 3, 6 plus 4. So I'm just getting the dice to work.
Alright.
Oh wow,
yeah,
but
by the
she like just fails at punching so badly. She just takes like this real bravado swing and it just like just fails to hit completely. So you grab her hands as she misses
Okay.
and grabs hold of them.
As she tries to punch me, can I say, like, if you try that again, you might be meeting the nasty end of my friend's weapon over there?
I'll brandish my rifle.
Yeah, can I? Would that be intimidate? Can I try and intimidate her into like giving up?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright.
I'd say that's a fairly easy thing to do, given yeah, you've just
Okay.
kind of overpowered her.
Is that communication or is it strength?
Intimidation is strength.
I thought intimidation was communication because
Oh, hang on.
No,
Check,
it's
I'm
strength.
not-
I've got
Yeah.
focus on it.
I
There you go.
thought it was just communication. Oh no, that's I'm thinking deception.
Well, okay.
Okay.
You succeed and you stunt massively.
What's the stunt for this?
You're really intimidating. You can
Oh,
do
is
a
it role-playing
roleplay
stuff?
stunt if you wish. Otherwise, you can just say that you're super intimidating.
I'm gonna use Tower of Will.
Okay. So you demonstrate your own sense of brilliance and strength of character.
And
You get a
then
bonus to any other tests. So in other words, you like scare the crap out of her, possibly by burying those like big saurian teeth of yours. And yeah, now she actually seems suddenly, for the first time, quite afraid.
okay, and
And she's quite sulky, and she just kind of says, "Oh, we're just trying to do right by our town."
I'm just gonna tie her hands up.
Yeah, but you can't go beating up people willy-nilly. He's already in jail.
Can we stick him in the other cells?
I'll take. I say we should take them back to Gilcrest. He'll know what to do. Someone make sure he's all right, and then tie the
Yeah.
other elf up.
I'll check that request. Oh,
Okay, well, you mean bad Gilcrest, who's on the floor?
indeed.
Yeah, he's a bit of a mess. He's got a bloody nose and what might be a broken jaw by the look of him. He's pretty bruised up. But he kind of looks up at you and goes, "Thank you. Unlucky
You're lucky
you
we got
came
here.
when you
got
did."
here. Yep.
No, and at this point, I'm going to say you're going to tell me everything you know and about what you did, and basically, I'm going to persuade it. This is where I try and persuade him to tell us everything at his weakest.
Okay, sure. So I guess we're hitting persuasion now then, which I'm guessing is communication.
Oh shit! Tickle's on a roll. Puns.
Yeah, communication, persuasion. Or you can use intimidate, like whichever you
I
feel
don't
more
have
comfortable using.
I rolled a 20, so I'm going with persuasion.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you'd already rolled. That's a hell of a roll.
He shits himself.
Well, yeah, I have +5 because I've got persuasion and I'm quite high in communication.
Yeah, damn. Okay. Okay, well, bloodied and battered Gilcrest just sort of looks up at you and goes, "Oh, what do you want to know?"
I just say to him everything that you can give us, and maybe we'll make it so you don't have to serve sentence in this town.
Okay. He can agree to that. He says, "Well, what can I tell you? You already know that I was camped out with those mangy mutts out on the Shattered Plains.
What did you do to make these two elves so angry?
I never seen them before in my life. They attacked me. I'm the victim here."
But they
Nice.
wouldn't have just attacked you for no reason.
Can I stand on his hand?
You can.
Yeah, just stand on his hand.
Okay, he cries out in pain, and you hear some bones crack.
Okay.
Can I smack Kavod?
I'm not
Well,
coward.
That would
Oh,
be
not
unreasonable, given
Not
Gareth
Crowsec.
hasn't done anything.
Which one is?
I'm
Crowsack.
Crowsack.
Oh yeah, you're
I'll be back
Crowsack.
in a sec. Need to
Right,
go
can
for
I
a sec.
smack Crowsack?
No.
You can.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
I'm gonna have to join in this smacking.
Okay, as one, you both smack Grosek.
Can I try and dodge?
Sure.
I don't want to.
Make
I
a
want to get.
dexterity acrobatics check.
Alright, hold on. Oh shit.
Wow.
You don't see either of the smacks coming, and so you get a smack on each side of your head. And it hurts.
Well, I'll just carry on standing on his foot. On his hand, rather. I'll ignore the smacks and I'll just say to,
Can I just pause for a sec? I'm on the phone with my granddad. I need to disappear for probably 10 minutes.
That's fine. No problem.
Lovely. Cheers.
Okay.
can I ask him, who sent you to do this?
He said it was those Reinhold fellas. They paid me good money. I came through the rock gate, and after I'd set up my brother to get assigned to this place,
Why?
Mr. Reinhold, who doesn't want the ATC to succeed, He says he wants his town and his people to be the ones who take the resources on Umber. So he sent me and several of his best agents on a zeppelin across the Shattered Plains. We were supposed to stake out the area and sabotage any ATC operation where we could.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Can I ask him if he knows Weevil?
He says Weevil, but like it's not a very good bluff. Like I'm not gonna ask you to roll it, given
I'm gonna stand on his hand harder until he tells me.
He goes, yes, I know Weevil. Weevil came over with me on the Zeppelin along with the others.
I knew it! I fucking knew it!
What's his partner called?
Bess. Does he with Bess, the dwarf?
No, she was a human.
She is human.
I ask you, was Bess with him?
Yes. Weevil, Bess, the others. We were all there.
I'm gonna run out the fucking room and I'm gonna run back to the art gate as fast as I assume my horse is outside.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna fucking get on my horse and I'm gonna find Weevil.
Should someone go after him? He might kill someone.
I ask Garrick to go with him.
Yeah.
Because I trust Garrick not to kill him. Or not to let him get killed.
Let me kill him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay, well, you two go running out the door for your horses. I guess we'll resolve this conversation before we follow what happens with you. So, yeah. Those two go running out the door.
Yeah.
Alright, now I ask him the name of the other... I ask the name, race, where they were heading, of the other agents. I ask him where the Reinhold, base of operation is. And here's one. I ask him if he will turn double agent for us. And I say to him, that's the way he can get out of prison.
The only way.
Yeah, the only way he will ever see daylight again is if he becomes a double agent for us. On the ATC. And then, who else is with me?
At this point, you've got, Cavod, and Twig.
I ask Twig to go and get the mayor, because I'll say that because Tolly's away, so you can resolve, the other thing.
Yeah, sure.
So I ask Twig to go and get the mayor. So yeah, that's what I ask. If I have to roll for anything, I will.
No, that's fine. You asked quite a lot of Gilchrist there, but I guess the main thing was, will he turn double agent? Since you made that amazing persuasion roll earlier, I'm just operating off that. He says, sure, I'll do what you want. Those Reinhold bastards never paid me enough for this job anyway. I only took it because I wanted a chance to get back on my brother.
Don't forget to tie the elves up.
I thought you'd already put them in the other jails.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought you'd said that you'd shove them in one of those.
Yeah,
so
okay.
We'll just go with that for the sake of simplicity. What else did you ask him? Who else he came with?
Yeah, their name, race, and where they were going.
Okay. Sure, just give me 1 sec to pull my notes up.
Everything's coming together.
Oh, where have I put this stuff? I need a better filing system.
Don't we all?
Okay, well, in addition to Bess and Weevil, came over with a sniper called Slevin, who's a Saurian. And a human guy who he doesn't know the real name of, but who is just generally known as Spikes. And those two were supposed to be keeping a base, well, not a base, a camp, kind of out to the west in the Shattered Plains, where like the others could go to if anything went wrong.
We could use what's his name here, Gilchrist here, as like a way to get in there and catch them as well. This is out of character. Sorry.
Sure.
Metagaming.
Oh my god. Did you have any other questions for him? Because I'm not sure if I answered everything you asked.
I asked names, race, and what. Asked them where they came from, like where the gate is, because we don't know where the gate is.
Oh, sure,
Checking
yeah. He tells you, which you kind of know from the spoilerific map, that they essentially, the Rimworld Industries have their own arc gate on the western side of the Shattered Plains. Like, he describes it as being very far away, like essentially on the other side of the continent.
Alright, I pick him up and I take him to the sheriff's office.
Okay.
And as I'm taking him, I basically say, "You're gonna tell your brother what you told me." And then I also say to him, "But think about it this way: you're the one who's gonna help him get them. You're gonna help your brother, basically."
Yeah. Okay, he goes, yes. Whatever you want, just keep that nasty Saurian away from me. I can. And he maybe looks at White Wolf and goes, I can see you're the man in charge around here. So yeah, you and Cavod lead him back into the sheriff station, where Sheriff Dougal Gilchrist is surprised to see you bring him in and goes, "I told you not to hurt him." Oh my god, what have you done?
I say to him, "It wasn't us; it was the elves in the cells."
There are elves in the cells? Did I forget to fill in a prison order?
I go, "No, they were attacking your brother. We stopped them."
Oh, thank you, I guess. And then Perrin Gilchrist, the injured one, goes, "Oh, stop being such a snivelling fool, Dougal. These men helped me, that's all that matters. And now apparently I have to help you." And yeah, so I guess, like you suggested, one Gilchrist brother tells the other everything that he'd just told you about the operation by Rimworld Industries, which takes Sheriff Gilchrist somewhat by surprise. Yeah, but you know, like he thanks he thanks White Wolf and Cavod for your help in getting the information. And he sort of looks at you a bit dumbfounded and goes, "Oh, what do we do now? Besides getting my brother a doctor, maybe." And maybe while you're thinking about that, it would be fair to switch over to the other two since they weren't running off.
Yeah, and then you can time to think. Although, Kenny, if you can think of anything, be much appreciated.
Can't think of it at the moment.
Well, you two can have a think while the other two are dramatically riding on horseback towards the arc gate.
You can tell them that I'll heal him when I get back. Because I do help people occasionally.
Occasionally. I've got to say, for like sort of group healer, you probably do the most like random damage to helpless creatures.
Violence.
He inflicts the most pain on other people.
I heal people. I do help people. I'm sorry, and it's different. It's cultural differences. That's all. I forget that humans and other animals and creatures they're a weaker race than myself. So
You're not sorry, you're Saurian.
Well,
yes. Oh god.
sadist and racist.
Caddy, we're both Saurians. Come on. No, they're soft skins, so I forget myself.
Okay. Well,
I'm used to. Yeah. Anyway.
you and Garrick are riding on horseback towards the Arc Gate. More or less the same collection of people are there because it's only been not been that long, maybe an hour since you were last there. You come riding up, horses kicking up dust. Everyone kind of like looks towards you as you arrive.
As we ride in, I want to just like almost like a roar, like Godzilla level roar. I just want to shout Weevil.
I'm guessing it's kind of a long drawn out roar.
Yeah.
Weevil!
Yeah, like really
I'll remind
fucking
you
mad.
not to kill anyone. We are deputies.
I don't want to look. Does he at the same place that I was watching him earlier?
You don't see him.
Right.
And
Can I-
Oil Splot and Hank Crogson come running up to you and go, well, "What's all this about?"
Where's Weevil? He's a Reinhold industry spy. I'm speaking so quickly that there's like froth coming out of my mouth, and I'm just like gnashing. And they can barely understand what I'm saying.
He's a greasy pie. What are you talking about?
I'm just gonna start saying spy over and over again.
Okay. Oil Splot, the head engineer guy, goes up. Who's this Weevil? What are you talking about?
He was
It's
human.
Smelly Dwarf.
Dwarf. Spy.
Oh,
Engineer.
that
Spy.
ginger dwarf fellow.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, I sent him packing. I don't know what he was even doing in this crew. Like, the weirdo just came up and picked up some tools and started doing some repair work. No one even noticed until I started like having a go at him.
Have
Where did
the
he go?
engineers check out his work? He might have sabotaged the gate.
Yeah. I'll point at where he was working because I guess I can remember.
Yeah, sure you can.
I'll point them out to where he was working.
Yeah. Okay. They send a couple of workers to go and check it out where he was working. And then they come back like a minute later and they're like, "Nah, it's all fine, boss. Like, if anything, just done a good job."
Can I just ignore them and ask where he was sent? Where he went off to?
It's send him packing. The fellow just got on his horse and rode off.
Which direction?
Back into town, I think. I was so angry at catching him that I just sent him packing. I wasn't really thinking straight.
We didn't see him when we came here.
Oh god. Can I look around for tracks, or maybe see if? I guess they can tell me generally where he left from. So.
Probably too many tracks to pick from.
You want to roll for your tracking?
I'll also try to track him. I got the specialty in that.
I've got perception with searching. I don't know if I can use that. Or does it have to be tracking?
I think since there is a focus for tracking, you'd kind of have to use that.
Oh god. Shaq, do you want to have a go?
In your anger, just kind of stomp around in the dirt and don't find any tracks.
I'd like to point out that I'm so angry that there's like little sparks of lightning and stuff going around my head.
Yeah. Garrick, with his superior tracking skills, locates the tracks and the horse tracks, and they are indeed sort of heading back towards Prosperity Junction, but like not directly in the way you went, but more like kind of just following the rail tracks that kind of like are more of a curved route into town.
Can we follow them?
Track. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll jump back on my horse.
Okay, you both heroically jump back onto your horses and you ride off, leaving everyone at the art gate kind of dumbfounded.
I'm still just
That
like,
was our intention.
yeah, look badass. Still like
Let's start
sparks
the
and
guys
lightning.
and look who's doing it.
And as dramatic music from somewhere plays, you ride along the track.
Yeah.
What Mitch said. Yeah, you ride along the tracks, which take you to the mostly abandoned at the moment train station. And as you are riding up to the train station, suddenly you hear an explosion from the other side of the train station.
God damn it.
Fuck my life.
Let's go
Right.
quietly.
Yeah, I'll get off my horse and I'll get my staff out and ready it.
Okay.
I ready my rifle and I'll get off my horse and start walking or
Okay.
running.
You guys come running. You go running through the train station. You come out the other side onto Gold Street, and Gold Street is just in absolute uproar. There is a wagon just kind of like wildly and very quickly like smashing its way through the street, and like people having to like jump out the way as this wagon like wildly veers from side to side as it sort of takes off down the street.
As it's doing that, can I cast Thunderbolt at one of the wheels and try and blow one of the wheels off?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Gonna cast a spell. If I can find lightning bolt. Okay.
So you need 15.
Yeah. Oh god. Come on. Yeah, 20! I stunted!
Oh my god.
Holy shit. I'm so angry. I just... Boo.
Okay, so all of this lightning leaps out from you and hits a wheel. You get to stunt if you would like to do something with a spell stunt. Rolling damage is almost a bit superfluous because I'm fairly certain that's going to blast the wheel off.
I'm really sorry about that. I'm back.
That's
No
okay,
worries.
no problem. These guys are just
Can I-
chasing down some criminal types.
Straight horse.
I'm gonna use split spell, and I'm gonna basically make it tear the bottom of the wagon in half.
Okay, so
It completely destroys the wagon, basically.
sure. Okay, so you launch this massive lightning bolt that strikes one wheel and then like arcs to the other wheel and blasts them both off, ripping the back of the
And-
wagon off. The wagon, the back of the wagon falls down, crashing into the ground and like kind of scraping along the ground and basically, you know, like forcing it to come to a stop. The horses can't pull it when it's like that. It comes to a screeching halt. The wagon flips over, and Weevil and
Explodes.
Bess come flying out of it, and both like just go headfirst smack into the wall of the saloon, and then sort of like collapse onto the ground.
Alright, I'll use my other 2 stun points to reduce the mana cost by 1. Just to top it off.
Okay, just for a flourish.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, that happened.
I like this new spell.
I'll take my actually I'll take my rope and I'll go over to them.
Your what, sorry?
My rope.
Oh, your rope. Yeah, sure. Go for it. They're both kind of like dazed and injured. The wagon is kind of like maybe a little bit on fire, but like some of the townspeople are running and grabbing buckets to put out the fire that Krosik started.
Yeah, I'll read the litany like you're under arrest by the authority of Prosperity Junction and yada yada yada.
I'm just gonna like stamp around in like Saurian bloodlust, just kind of gnashing my teeth and yeah, being really angry basically.
I'm surprised you're not singing I was right, I was right.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe all the townspeople are staying well away from Krosik, given quite scary with the lightning throwing and the stomping and.
Can
the
I just have a little bit of context to like what actually
Oh
happened?
yeah, a lot happened while you were away. Well, I tell you what, we're about to have a break, so maybe they can fill you in the break. I was just gonna say that Garrick ties up Weevil and Bess. Bess kind of looks at Weevil and goes, "I told you this was a bad idea."
B.
And yeah, like Garrick arrests them, and the fire of the burning wagon is put out, and someone unties the horses from it. And yeah, it's 8 o'clock. It's halftime break. If someone wants to regale their adventures to Tolly in the break, that would help. Or I can explain when we get back.
How far did you? When did you leave, Tolly? What was we doing?
You were
Last
in the
I saw,
cells.
we were in the cells and we'd tied up the male elf.
Basically, we put the female. We put the both out. Well, we beat both elves, so they're in the prison jail. I managed to convince the other brother, the brother we was going to get, to basically spill all his beans. He spilled all his beans, as in he's told us everything, saying, and he also he mentioned that we've looked, you know, the basically the dwarf and the human, and the dwarf that Raj was suspicious of is a spy for Randall Industries. We also got 2 more names for another 2 spies for Rhino, which is Sniper Sleeve, which was a Saurian, and a human called Spikes. And they're at the Shattered Pines or around there. And they basically, Garrick and I always forget. It's not Kavod, it's Kurosek. Kurosek went off to basically chase Weevil and the human. So that's what you came into.
I destroyed their wagon.
He did destroy the wagon a bit. Right.
Oh, also, I sent you off to get the mare because you were away and it made sense.
Yeah, that's fine. That's all right.
I know you've just got back, Tolly, but I was going to say this is a good opportunity for a 10-minute break at like halfway point. So if we just say back here at 10 past. Myself, I'm going to go get a cup of tea.
I'm gonna get a cup of tea as well. Thanks, guys.
BRB. BRB.